Moving on, Intercontinental Championship match. Curtis Axel against R-Truth. Another one of these matches that really had not much going on for it and no real build-up. I mean, the whole build-up for it was that R-Truth got a win over Curtis Axel because CM Punk's music played, and that apparently meant, even though he's done nothing over the past couple of months, that he was immediately shot forward into the Intercontinental Championship titles picture. So that goes to show you how much they give a shit about Curtis Axel and the Intercontinental title right now. And this match was complete filler. Didn't like it. I don't want to see these two having any other matches together. Pretty much enough said from my point. What do you guys think about this?
I think the best thing they could have done is to have Curtis Axel get payback. And what they could have done is had Spider-Man's music play, so that would have freaked R-Truth out. And then Curtis Axel could have gotten the roll-up pin.
That's what they should have done.
The best way to do that match. Yep.
Make it 2 minutes. As soon as R-Truth comes out, you just start playing that right after his music is done.
That was a running thing throughout this whole pay-per-view. Things were way too long. And usually it's the opposite. Usually you feel like matches could have been better if they were given more time. A lot of these matches would have been better if they were cut in half.
And you know what was really odd? As I mentioned before, the placement of the matches on the card.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we had a pre-show match with... the pre-shows are kind of give or take. You either have something that's really important and it's worth the while, or you have something that's complete throwaway. Usually, for the most part, though, it's not the most important thing in the world. Obviously, or else that would be on the pay-per-view. But then you want to start off with something pretty decent. And as much as I didn't like the match itself, the world title match, starting off with a hardcore thing, that does kind of kick it off with a bit of a bang. And then you take a little bit of a dip down with the Real Americans match. But then they went on this weird thing where that whole group in the center was the Real Americans match that wasn't announced far in advance. And then we went to the Intercontinental title match. And then after this, we had the Divas title match. Which, that's way too many matches that are filler in a row.
I thought, and after that, wasn't it the Wyatt-Kofi match?
No, then it was the Shield and Goldust and Cody Rhodes match. But then it went to the Bray Wyatt and Kofi match. Then CM Punk, and then the WWE title match. So it makes you think, like, why didn't they have the CM Punk match, and then a buffer match, and then the world title match? And likewise, why not move the Shield match to after the Intercontinental one, and then use the Divas and Bray Wyatt as buffer or something like that? Like, I don't know. I really was confused about this, because after watching the Del Rio match, I was disappointed. Then the Real Americans match was just kind of like, this. I wouldn't have paid to see this. Mm-hmm. And around this time with the Intercontinental title match, Dace, who had paid for the pay-per-view, was just kind of like, I'm going to like really miss that $50.
I would be too.
And then it just kept getting worse, and it kept getting worse. This Intercontinental title match, crap.
Absolutely nothing to write home about. Nothing. When was the last time we had a good Intercontinental title match? Payback?
I don't even remember.
When Axel won it, right? Against Miz?
Yeah, that might be it.
The triple threat with Miz and Barrett.
What are your thoughts on this, Burhan?
It was an Intercontinental title match that should never have happened. I like Truth better when he had Little Jimmy.
I like Truth better when he didn't have Little Jimmy yet.
I like Truth better when he wasn't in WWE.
You're just telling everyone you suck.
We really going back to TNA?
No, I just mean I didn't have to see him.
Oh. Yeah, looks like they might be continuing this feud at least until Hell in a Cell. But
what feud? Is it a feud?
Yeah, apparently it is. I mean, we've got R-Truth teaming up with CM Punk to face Curtis Axel and Ryback.
Really,
I think R-Truth versus Spider-Man would have been a better feud.
He wouldn't have been able to tag him. He's afraid of him.
R-Truth coming out to tag with CM Punk was one of the most random things on Raw I've ever seen. Like that, I think that was an absolute dip in excitement, and it wasn't very exciting at that point after CM Punk's promo anyway, because he has just been absolutely off his game the last few months with those. As far as this match, though, it was just filler. It was another opponent for Curtis Axel to defend his title, because going back to the old Jack Tunney rules, you got to defend that title every 30 days, so he's got to put it against someone. And I'm happy that it's at least on the pay-per-view. I guess if I have to pull some kind of positive thing out of this, I mean, it's not like sometimes where you won't even have the Intercontinental title mentioned, like SummerSlam. So I guess that's good. I think you could have found a much better opponent to put him out there with. I mean, put him out there with The Miz again. You could put him out there with Fandango. There's a lot of people you could have done it with.
Agreed. Any other points, guys?
Not one.
Said with such disdain.
Oh.
All right, moving on to another championship, Divas Championship, coming up in the next part.